Hey everyone, Pine Grove News Live, 6 o'clock on the dot here on the East Coast. And I just want to say, you guys are stronger than you know. You Christians out there, you're much stronger than you know. I mean, the Lord is on your side. So, and He knows how much you can take. And you can always take more. You can. God bless everyone. I hope you're doing all right. Couple notes I took, what's going on out there and in this very, very dark world. Rush Limbaugh show. I always tend to, I go out there at lunch break and I listen to him for a half hour, get, little bits and pieces. And one thing that I got from that little half hour of the 3 hours that he talks all day is this one thing. Have you had enough? Have you had enough of this impeachment of the Democrats, of Trump, of the childlike behavior? They're not getting anything done. Haven't you had enough? If that's the case, then their job is done. Okay? There are a lot of people apparently depressed in the dumps about what's going on. And I don't blame them. But you know what? Christians, this is when we're to step up to the plate. We're to be intercessors. We're to stand in the gap for these people who have no other hope than that. Yeah, some of these people in this world just don't have the hope that we have. And so we need to, that's our call. That's our commission. Besides going out there and tell them, and we're all to prophesy. And what are we to prophesy about? The second coming. Jesus is coming back. And the signs that are all around us. And we're watching. We're watching, we're waiting. And in the meantime, we have to be here and do what we need to do and pray. Pray constantly. I always said that that's what I do. I pray constantly. But you know what? I keep looking back and I'm not praying enough. I don't think that I am. I've given it all over to the Lord. I think what it means, and some other people have said the same thing, if we're to give everything over to the Lord, all our troubles, all our cares, that's what we need to do. Give it to Him. And if we can find that medium that where we can do that, you'll be much better off. I'm just talking to you from experience. I don't like to keep saying it because I feel like I'm singling myself out, but I'm not. There are a lot of people that are blessed. I feel that I'm blessed. I'm blessed with His peace. I finally, got His peace. I was blessed to start this whole thing with a portion of, His love, that love that brought Him to come down here in the flesh and die for our sins and die for us so that we could be saved, so that we wouldn't walk around being cursed our whole lives. To do, to follow the laws which we can't follow, it's just impossible. Not in this day and age. But I know a lot of people that are blessed, and I just feel like if I'm saying it, I'm kind of boasting or something like that, even though my heart says that I'm not. That's why I rarely say it. So, but we are all each blessed, in our ways, just like we're different. Every one of us are. There's not one of us that are the same. Not one. That's how unique we are. He molds and makes us up in the womb. Yeah, in the belly. So don't worry about that stuff. It'll work itself out. I mean, this is what the world is about anyway. It's about, you know, depressing you and holding you back and holding you down and enslaving you, you know? 'Cause we are slaves. But, you know, we're slaves. We are. Now, who are you going to be a slave to? You're going to be a slave to this world, which there's no hope for, no hope from, or are you going to be a slave to Jesus? I'd rather be the slave to Jesus. It's like Paul said, you know, he's a prisoner of Jesus. And that's where I want to be. If I'm going to be in jail, that's where I want to be. And did you hear this one out there? Kind of elaborating on all this. Hillary Clinton, what she's out there saying. I have the article somewhere, but I don't know. She's talking about this. I think the Democrat is a woman, and I think she's from Hawaii, and she's the only one of those Democrats, during those debates that I actually found to be somewhat intelligent and, reasoned. Or the other ones are just, I'm just not going to say anything. But Clinton's out there saying that this lady, and I have an article, I'll mention it when we get there, but I can't find it right now. But she's saying that this lady is a Putin's, not a spy, a Putin, controlled by Putin, put there to, have Russia's say in all of it. I don't know. Everyone's talking about it. She's probably trying to set something up, But anyways, that woman is really, she needs to stop talking. I don't think I've never prayed for any ill will from happen to anybody. Because we are to love even our enemies, and isn't that a hard thing to do, eh? Just give me 1 second. I forgot to go check to see whether I'm live YouTube, and we are. Okay, so I'm up. I want to apologize for Wednesdays, I guess. Yeah, Wednesday was kind of cut out. I don't know what happened, whether it was them or whether it was something that happened here, because we did lose our phone and our TV briefly. The internet didn't go out, but the broadcast on Wednesday did. And so, right at the 36-minute mark, it cut out. I didn't go and I didn't edit it or anything, didn't put titles in there. I just, said, okay, it must not have meant to be. So I just left the rough cut out there. And hopefully we'll have a better luck today. And also that I don't have, one last note here. Apparently, Mark Zuckerberg had a interview with, I don't know if you know Fox News and the show The Five. I forget her name, the blonde, blue-eyed one. She was the only one. Well, she gave an interview with Mark Zuckerberg. And Mark Zuckerberg basically said that he says no to censoring politicians. Because somebody is putting out there that, people really, Twitter should censor Trump's tweets. And even Twitter came out and said that, oh, maybe this is it right here. Yeah, from the News Punch. Twitter paves the way to censor Trump via new rules for world leaders. Well, that's what the title is. But they've also come out and said that they're going to have to follow the rules just like everyone else. And there is an outline. You can't threaten anybody. Here. You can't promote terrorism. Yes, no clear and direct threats of violence. Okay, posting private information from somebody. Posting or sharing intimate photos or videos. Engaging in behaviors relating to child sexual exploitation. And encouraging or promoting self-harm. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with Trump's tweets. I mean, whatever. I mean, he does what he does. We all do what we do, and we're all different, man. You really are. We may have, some things in common, but we basically are all our own characters, and it's funny sometimes. I just, never envisioned. I mean, the first time I ever saw a president keep his phone and use his accounts, you know, um, social media was Obama, and I was wondering how he's able to do that, being able to do that. But now we got Trump, and man, that's all that guy really does is put it out there. It's good in a way because he's being real. He's not really a politician. He's a businessman, and you get a lot of information that you wouldn't get if he was silent, right? So anyway, whether you like him or like what he's doing, that's what he's doing, and there's always somebody offended. That's the day we live in today. Yeah, can't offend anybody. So basically, they just want us all to shut up. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Let's start off with we just started off with that, but this from the Watchers. Now they're calling them storm quakes. Yeah. World Watchman told me this the other day that they came out with another term. We got bombogenesis, polar vortex, asthma thunder, all this stuff. Now we got storm quakes. Okay. So, I mean, it's great that you can learn something new every day. But where are these people coming from? Storm quakes. Apparently, these storms cause quakes. And yes, I could see, especially with things, the earth really, being, going back and forth, moving to and fro, whatever. It's moving. We'll talk about something else that Californians are worried about now, besides those tremors that have been going on. So scientists discovered new geophysical phenomena. Okay, and that's why they're claiming they're naming these with new names because it's all new. It's this era of climate chaos, and so let's put our own words. Okay, let's just change the way whether or not. Well, it is geoengineered, right? So we are learning new things every day. So this geophysical phenomena where a heavy storm can trigger seismic events in the nearby ocean as powerful as a 3.5 magnitude earthquake. I don't find that that's new. I mean, if anybody's ever heard of Dutch Sense, okay, and I'm be surprised if you haven't. He basically has mentioned that, and I've heard it other places. I mean, yeah, you're going to get a powerful typhoon, hurricane. What's the other name they call it? What do they call the ones in the Indian Ocean? I can't remember right now, but yeah, I mean, you get enough, big enough storm. I don't know how it actually works. It's not, my expertise whatsoever. I'm not an expert at anything. I'm kind of like a, jack of all trades, master of none, and some of them barely even that. And this is kind of it, weather phenomena. Okay, yeah, I can imagine the pressure. They talk about highs and lows and the pressures, the barometers, and all that stuff. But yeah, you get something big enough, of course, it's going to cause pressure, and pressure moves things, does it not? Look at the steam inside a pressure cooker, right? Enough to blow up. Anyways, so this bombogenesis in my area in the northeast, right? I haven't seen any of this. Yes, I've already talked about it, I believe. But this headline: several injured as very destructive, possibly multi-vortex. Oh, this is in France. I'm sorry. This multi-vortex tornado hits Arles in France. And you know what? That's not the first time they're talking about this multi vortex now. This typhoon that hit Japan, Tokyo. Typhoon, tornadoes, and earthquake hit Tokyo at the same time. Same time as the sky turned purple. We've heard about, heard about the skies turning different colors too. Purple being one, pink being another. I mean, you live long enough, I'm sure you could probably sense, something's going to happen. Kind of like people with, trick knees or aches and pains when you know maybe a snowstorm's coming, like I do. I can tell you, well, basically moisture. And it's gonna, when my knees start aching, it's going to rain. Anyways, signs of the last days. And this is what happened in Japan. 75-foot waves, I believe. Strongest typhoon in many decades recently hit the area of Tokyo. Also tornadoes and an earthquake. A strong typhoon was about to hit. The sky strangely turned eerie shades of purple as a sign of what was coming near Tokyo. It ultimately left a trail of destruction as it moved north. There were record-setting rains, with over 3 feet of rain within a 24-hour period. That caused flash flooding, of course. 47 rivers actually burst their banks, and there were 146 landslides. You get enough rain, you're going to get all that. We've heard about that for the past few years. The death toll from the typhoon Hagibis, that's what I call it, has reached over 70 and is still climbing as people are still missing. I would like to know, because I don't think I don't know if you did either or either. What was the final tally of the people missing in that Japan earthquake tsunami? Some say the whole, there was over 100,000 people that were washed away. I mean, you don't hear about stories like that, right? I mean, I'd expected to hear, maybe bodies showing up on the west coast of the United States. I know the debris did. Maybe the fishes got to it before it actually got here. So that's some weather there for you. Oh, you remember me talking about all the nuclear weapons that have been tested throughout the years since 1947, actually? Remember me telling you, where did all the radiation go? Right? Where did it go? Anyways, this is from The Express, which is a UK newspaper, home of the Daily and Sunday Express. So Antarctica puts out a warning. I don't know how they do that. Researchers make worrying discovery deep beneath the ice. Yeah. So this nuclear fallout is still being discovered in Antarctica some 70 years after the atomic bombs were tested in the Pacific. Researchers warn that it could last for hundreds of thousands of years. Yeah, well, I don't know about that. But anyway, it could have been where all this nuclear radiation went to. It could have collected on both poles. The jet streams basically are in the middle of the world, right? On the equator. One goes one way, the other one goes the other way. I mean, maybe it was just all settled to Antarctica. But why haven't they mentioned this before? They've been there for multiple years. I mean, since the 40s, right? The Nazis supposedly, escaped to Antarctica. If you, believe that they escaped, or not just let go. But anyway, during the peak of the Cold War, the United States its nuclear arsenal in the Pacific between 46 and 58. U.S. dropped a total of 67 nuclear bombs on islands and reefs in the South Pacific as it looked to flex its muscles towards the Soviet Union. But the consequences that still ongoing and could be, like I said, for thousands, and they're saying if not millions of years. So they're talking about these levels of isotopes, such as chlorine 36. I've never heard of that. Apparently, that is a byproduct, after product, whatever, result. But anyway, this chlorine 36 is a naturally occurring radioactive isotope. And yeah, we have these things all around our homes. Radon, I guess in this area in New England. So anyways, radioactive, let's see. But if it's found in abundance, I mean, there are certain levels to this chlorine 36. And they're saying if it's found in abundance, it will be like a carcinogenic, okay, deadly. So what are they saying? The isotope in this instance is the byproduct, said, of the nuclear bombs dropped as argon, that's a gas, was pumped into the atmosphere, which reacted with cosmic rays to form this chlorine 36. Over the ensuing decades, it has made its way to Antarctica, where researchers have discovered 10 times the normal levels of chlorine 36. Now, why haven't they found it in the North Pole? Why just the South Pole? Why just Antarctica? Why not the Arctic? In any case, I mean, you're talking, you look on this map, I mean, Vostok, I mean, that's just about, I think that is actually at the South Pole. In any case, I don't know what, if this is propaganda or not. I mean, just use your own discernment. I mean, they have a lot of things going on down there. They have a lot of, research stations. It's not just the U.S. that's there. There are a lot of countries that have bases there. It's just that civilians are not allowed there. And then we can go into why not? What are they trying to hide? Well, I could go into it, but that's another whole subject. And it has a lot to do, with the fallen angels. I believe, yeah. So this chlorine has a half-life of 300,000 years. There you go. It'll be there for a long time. I don't think the Earth will be around that long, but I think that, this fervent heat, okay, that we talk about in the last days, when God comes back in his anger and vengeance, that fervent heat of his glory just coming is going to be melting everything. It'll burn off that chlorine 36. It'll burn off that radiation. He's basically coming and he's making it new while he's collecting his vengeance, putting his foot down, so to speak. So that's what I was trying to put out last Wednesday. I was trying to put out this article from the Big Wobble. Fukushima region hardest hit by the typhoon. Hagibis, as radioactive soil is being pushed from the mountains down into the areas where people live and crops are grown. Well, that's not the one, but it is a update to it. This one, because they had all that radiation in the bags that were leaking that have been, putting into the ocean anyway. Are now definitely in the ocean, and they can use that as an excuse. Now they can, start putting it in bags again. I don't know why. Fukushima area flood water that reached as high as 75 feet, and mudslides hit 150 locations with more heavy rain forecast in coming days. I mean, this news, this just keeps getting worse and worse. I mean, scientists in the beginning have said that this is an extinction level event. ELE. We will see. Is this the waters that were made bitter? Is this the seemingly mountain that was tossed into the ocean? Because that first, whatever it was burning, this mountain that was burning, like I said before, it did not come down from the sky like the second one, Wormwood, like it did. Because the second one says it came down from heaven, burning as a lamp. The first one was a mountain on fire, and it was tossed into the ocean. Go look it up for yourself. It's in Revelation. Read the whole thing. I believe it's in, first 10 chapters below. Not sure where. But anyways, I mean, I've been studying a lot about the rapture, tribulation lately, at least actually for a couple of weeks. Still a long way to go, but there's some things that are, in my head. And I'm not going to say too much about it because I'm still in the process of having the Holy Spirit, bang them into my head so that I can remember them. Yeah, but all I do know is that we are going through tribulation right now. Jesus said that we would. He said, in the world, you will have tribulation. I'm sorry, folks, but you will. That is a gimme. Somebody tell me, somebody comment if you're not going through tribulation, if you have never gone through any tribulation, any problems, any trials in your life, leave a comment because that would be a miracle. You would be a miracle and you need to post it. Yeah, we all going through tribulation. And this one also from the Express. We know where these papers come from, right? Okay, they come from another country, the UK, I believe. And so use your discernment, especially with these, the Express, the other one, the Daily Mail. Excuse me. And there may be one other one, the Sun, definitely. Anyways, Disease X. I mean, I use them because they make sense. Some of these. Some of them I just put out there. Anyways, for you to make that determination. Disease X. I mean, we know about this, right? They're putting that into our heads these days. Yep. Disease X. When, not if, deadly outbreak strikes with millions at risk. I believe, yeah, it's going to happen. Especially ones nowadays that, supposedly these strains or whatever they are, flu, whatever the case may be. I mean, the antibiotics we use seem to not be working or less, they're less productive. That's not the word I wanted to use, but they don't, it's kind of watered down. And eventually you're going to find these diseases that are resilient or resistant to this bacteria, whatever it may be, and they won't be of any use. And I believe that Africa still is a petri dish and that we are all being experimented on with these diseases. Yes, we are. So anyways, we know about that. I'm not going to go into this because you know about that. You just need to be, updated, be aware that of course this may happen. It says it in Matthew 24, pestilences, famines. This is from Strange Sounds. New earthquake risk for California. This is a big thing now. Big, another, what do they call it? Porn fear. Yeah. I mean, and it may be, very credible. You need to pay attention because there's a lot of things going on over there on those fault lines in the West Coast. A lot of things are going on, not just the fires, the strange weather patterns and droughts on top of monsoons, but you got earthquakes, you got the Cascades, you got, the San Andreas, and then you got these other faults. So apparently, the Garlock Fault, Garlock, Garlock fault, a major California fault line, capable of producing an 8.0 earthquake or earthquakes, is shifting for the first time in history, said these baffling scientists. Yeah, they're baffled. I don't know exactly where that is because this is the first time that I basically have heard about this Garlock Fault. I believe it's, the one just below the San Andreas. That there are other faults there that people have been talking about, but this is the first I've heard of this particular one, Garlock Fault. So this major California fault line is shifting for the first time in history, triggering the series of earthquakes that shook Southern California in July. And I guess Los Angeles or someplace down there got another 3.7 tremor. I mean, if it is a tremor and not an earthquake, 8.0, yeah, it could happen. They've been talking about these things for years. They're still waiting for the 9.0 up in the Cascadia. That this guy Smith over there at Fox News, who now, has retired, I don't know. He came out, 2 years ago, maybe 3, and said that it's imminent. Why did NASA fly their whatever plane zigzagging over these lower fault lines? They did it for, I don't know, maybe a week or 2. You think they're going to tell us what they found? Well, is this their way of telling us what they found? Use your own discernment. So anyways, they're calling it surprising because we've never seen the Garlock Fault do anything. And here, all of a sudden, it changed its behavior. We just don't know what it means. Yeah, they're saying they don't know what it means. They do know what it means. Tens of thousands of earthquakes hit near Ridgecrest since July 4th. That's the one I'm talking about, the Ridgecrest one. And there's other ones. So, yes, I know, Agenda 20, Agenda 2030. Yeah, basically, yes, they want to move people into other areas. I just finished reading a little bit about it today, both of them again. With all the fires and flooding and earthquakes. I don't know why anybody's in California anymore. Yeah, apparently it's beautiful there. In any case, I can go into, if it wasn't for the fact that I'm hearing stories that people are trying to bring God back into this country, because for the most part, God has been taken out of just about everything here. God is angry about it. He's been expressing his anger in a lot of ways, and I hope you're paying attention. Now, is he going to wait a little longer? Because people are trying to bring God back. Even though we are still being pushed back by so much of the other side, and we'll get to that in a second. So this Garlock Fault, okay, near the Ridgecrest area where earthquakes measuring 6.4 and 7.1 hit in July and were followed by thousands of aftershocks. The fault has slipped nearly an inch at its surface since the Ridgecrest quakes. The movement, as well as other findings about Ridgecrest quakes, was detailed in a research paper published Friday in the Science Journal. So if you want to read on, they got a little video down here too. They'll talk about it. I've heard about it through many people. First time I've heard about garlic fault, which you can see on this video cover. It's just below that. But don't forget about it. And this one is pretty bizarre too. I mean, we've heard about these things also from Strange Sounds. Hundreds of birds. Hundreds of birds. I think it was in 300 and something. Slam into a NASCAR Hall of Fame building, killing themselves. That's what the title says, but I read, a bit of the article, and it actually ends up being 1/3 of them actually died. 1/3 of them are injured, and the other third are recovering. Anyways, they don't know why. Nobody knows why. The question here is, but are there any 5G towers around? And I don't think that question was answered in this article. Here are the birds, 310 of them. And there is a video that shows one bird slamming into the window of this building. This one right here, and I'll let it play for 2 minutes, 34 seconds. I don't know why I have to warn you, at least not my subscribers, okay? Yes, you're going to see a birdie fly into a window. You're going to see other birds on the ground, so gird yourself, okay?
Shocking video. It's a little tough for some to watch, but you're looking at dozens of birds scattered around the entrance of the NASCAR Hall of Fame. This is after, one by one, they flew into the side of the building. This is cell phone video. It is from a viewer, a little bit dark, but look, you can see, again, some people might find this kind of disturbing, but they're just gone.
They're just all.
Yeah, they're all just gone. They're not all gone. The video goes on. You can play if you want. It says the same thing that I just told you. The 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. That's very significant considering the Bible talks about 1/3 of mankind. And then 1/3 of them. You know how it goes. So in any case, it's not that shocking. I mean, if you're not awake, if you don't know that these things are already going on, it's been going on for a while now, a couple of years anyway, a few years maybe. Mass die-offs. Why do birds fly into a building at night? I mean, yes, the lights were on. It could be a couple things. But all I know is I come down to this reality, this fact is that the Lord said that He would take these away from us, and that this is prophecy being fulfilled. I mean, it's not just birds; it's all beasts. Okay, remember the reindeer being struck by lightning? What was that? Hundreds of them. And you're talking. We can go on and on about how many mass die-offs, dolphins, whales. Remember the starfish in the Pacific Ocean, of course, that, it's not a beast, but he's taken these things that he put in this world, for us away. It's just something that he's promised to do, like everything else in the Bible. And that's one thing I heard from somebody today. The one thing about the Bible and its predictions, its prophecies, is that it's the only data, I guess I could put it this way first, that is 100% correct. Not one of the prophecies in the Bible has not come true. They have all come true. So the rest of them, that some we're still trying to figure out, will come true. And this is that story I told you about from Now and the End Begins, about Hillary Clinton mentioning this Tulsi Gabbard. I don't know if that's how you pronounce her last name. Yeah, she just branded by Hillary Clinton as a Russian asset. That's what I was trying to figure out in a new anti-Trump smear campaign. Yeah, she's the only one that really of any promise, you know, if there can be any on the Democratic side. And she's going to smear her. I don't know. I don't know the strategy, but people talk about it. And this stuff we should be, concentrating on, looking at. We should be looking up the sky because we are to witness things that are going to happen in the heavens. Just like Revelation 12, we witnessed that. And that is the story, that Revelation 12, beginning to end. Asteroid alert. NASA tracks 3 rocks flying past Earth up to 1,800 miles per hour. And I believe 1 or 2 of them will happen tomorrow, Saturday. 3 asteroids making close approaches. Tomorrow, breakneck speeds, Space Agency NASA confirmed. If you can believe, never a straight answer. So I guess that's the only thing I can tell you, except tomorrow, October 19th, the trio. It says the trio, so I guess they're all going to be coming by relatively at the same time. I did not read that far. And I don't know, what the distance. I just know the speed, 1,800 miles per hour. In any case, everyone's looking at these things. We should be. All right. All in all, I'm going to put this out for you. Halloween is coming up. And of course, obviously, the end of the month. It's getting darker earlier. It's basically only about 6 o'clock before it started getting dark. I had to turn the lights on in the room. I'm sure they're probably going to have to change the time back this weekend, yeah? Or maybe next weekend. I haven't heard about it, so maybe it's next weekend. I know it was maybe like a week before the Halloween because I remember the kids having to come around in the dark time around 4:30. Anyway, Halloween. I mean, I'll just throw it out there. I'm going to talk about it before Halloween comes. It must be talked about. So it's, anyways, Halloween morning. I mean, do Christians celebrate Halloween? And if they do, why? Should you be celebrating Halloween? And if so, why or why not? Well, here in this article, there are 15 reasons why you should not celebrate the devil's holiday. And it goes on to tell you when it came to the U.S., 1745, and how we call it Halloween, All Hallow Eve, the day before whatever. Go read that if you want. I'm going to have some kind of, data points. I'm going to tell you, just like I'm going to tell you about Christmas when it gets here. Not as much, though. There's a couple things that I've learned to accept about Christmas, and I could tell you that as well. Any case, why would you go and celebrate something like this anyway? Just ask yourself. Use your own reason, if you have any, and reason out why you would send your children dressed in demonic-looking coverings. I know why they did it, but why would you let your children do it? It's just to throw it out there. Hey, I let my children do it when I didn't know about it either. And my wife still does it. She still passes out candy. Anyways, I won't get into that part. So, just throwing this out here too. I mean, I went to look to see whether the president has the ability. This is from Natural News. Now is the time for Trump to invoke the Insurrection Act and stop the lawless, treasonous left. Well, I agree totally. But what can he do? I went looking to see whether he could, dissolve Congress or whatever. And of course, Google just went all around the question. And in some cases asked me why I was asking the question. So that was very weird for me. It's the first time I experienced that from Google. Yeah. And I think that's what it does when I put out a YouTube. It just puts my the tags and everything I write in there totally in an irrelevant place. I know what other people call it, and I don't remember what it was, but yeah, I know they do that. And so, anyways, I asked the question, can the president dissolve Congress? And this is one of the many answers that I got, which says the president may even declare them unenforceable by the Supreme Court, has yet to address this issue. I mean, totally avoiding the answer to the question. It talks about vetoes and that the president can do, and totally going around the question, avoiding it. And gives me other questions like this: powers of the president of the United States. It's not in there either. Anyway, so I'm not done with that. I don't. In one case, there was one person down who left a comment to my answer. To my question, and said, "No, nobody can. Nobody can dissolve Congress." Which I don't think so. I think I've heard it somewhere where the president can do something, especially for insurrection. And if we're under the Patriot Act, I believe that he could do that. I believe that we're under that anyway, and he can do anything that he wants in order to protect the country. Yeah, that's the thing. And if you have, parts of your government trying to create sedition and divide the country on purpose because they didn't get their candidate in there, there's got to be something that he could do. I know people, anyways, that's just something to think about. I'm not going to get into it. End time headlines. Here's one of the last three I got left. World's largest Ouija board unveiled in Salem, Massachusetts. Well, isn't that special? You can't erect, the manger scenes around Christmas time, and they're taking down, stars, and, you can't have Bible studies, but yeah, let's put a huge Ouija board, okay, right out in the open. Yeah. And there's the little thing you move around. Tell you, man. And here, library's drag queen story strip show goes viral. Okay, this is from the Christian Perspective, CBN News. And we already knew about these library things, okay, book reading. You know that two of these people that were in there doing this have convictions or have been arrested for some type of pedophilia or something against children. And they're in there, these parents are letting these, of course, oh, I didn't know that he was arrested for this, that, and the other thing. Come on, man, really? You're going to open a door by bringing these, the pedophilia, this transgenderism, all this stuff, and try to influence, and that's what it is, influence, abuse, whatever it is, to your 4-year-old, your 6-year-old, and you're opening a door. What do you think you're going to get? You're opening a dark entrance. You're going to get swallowed up, and you're going to be responsible for ruining that child. You're not just going to go to hell. You're going to fire brimstone for the rest of your life, whatever. It's going to be torment every day of your life. And you'll be able to endure it because you're going to have a spiritual body to endure it forever. Hope you think about that. Falling away. And that is the big thing right now. This is the thing that we are waiting on. Okay. One of the main things that we're waiting on. The falling away. What do they call that? Besides the falling away. I mean, what else? This decline in Christianity in the United States continues at a rapid pace. We hear about this. I have a whole bunch of articles about pastors and other, teachers, pastors, okay, falling away, or they're bringing in something totally ungodly. That's all I can say. It is a rampant decline. Well, we knew that there was only going to be a remnant, right? Let's just pray to God that He finds us somewhat worthy. Yeah, we just have to believe. Yes, we do have to believe and repent and not to sin anymore. I know it's impossible. It's almost impossible, I guess, not to sin anymore. But you can renew your mind by whatever you have in your mind that makes you do the sin, recognize when it comes. And that's part of the renewing of your mind. You notice it and you say, no, I rebuke it, something like that, I mean, that's the start. I mean, of course I still sin. Shocked that I still do it, but I do it. Wretched man than I am, that's for sure. In any case, and then we got parents doing this, spiking violence and profanity on TV shows rated okay for kids. This has been going on for decades. It's not just now. It's been going on for decades. And yes, it is the parents. I mean, there's a lot of things I did not let my children see when they were growing up, but there's a lot of things that I did let them see. And my son showing their children things even worse. And I get after them for it. That's what we have to do. We can only try what we can do, and we can pray. And we need to pray always. With that, that's all we got for tonight. That's it. Friday, it's Sabbath Eve. Have a great Sabbath tomorrow. I'm having big problems with my back, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I have acorns to rake again tomorrow. More came down in this storm than I raked up last weekend, and I had 4 of those big bags filled halfway up because I can't fill them up. I won't be able to move them, but at least double what I have is back on the ground. And tomorrow will be a test. They have to be picked up. Otherwise, the more you walk on them, they start growing trees. They do. The last time I left them alone because I couldn't do it, there was about, 20, 50 trees in my yard. A little leaf popped up, it was growing, had roots. So anyway, so you can help me pray for that to be resolved. I know it's minuscule to the prayers that we should be putting out there, especially for the tormented and persecuted Christians all over the world. Pray for those women over there in Iran that their discipleship continues to grow. Pray for the ones, the underground church in China and North Korea, that they have breakthroughs, that they get provisions that they need, including Bibles. And we need to pray for these things. And the people who are being injured in all these storms, of course. There's only so much we can do. I mean, praying is a lot can be done in prayer. That's all I can say. We, I believe, got together on electing a president that could, that was more towards the Lord than obviously the other side was. That's for sure. And I believe because of our prayers that happened. And we could do a lot more. We all got together on what to do it for. Pray for the healing of this country. Anyways, God bless you all, and peace be with you throughout the weekend. Hopefully, I'll try and get something done like I do every weekend. I try, but just sometimes I can, sometimes, mostly lately, I can't. Yeah, because after the acorns comes the leaves. Yep, it's, I'll talk to you about it later, man. It's a never-ending battle. Pine needles first, acorns second, leaves third, and it comes in waves. God bless you all. Peace out, man.